Hi everyone, and welcome again to the EV Owners Lounge. This time at a different slot in your week, but anyway, we're here to joined as always by Mark and Sham from Mobilarray EV. My name's Alex, and we've got a very special guest, Leon, today, who will be helping us explain the Charger Guarantee, which is a new product from Mobilarray EV. First of all, we want to encourage everyone to put in their comments and questions into the chat box, and we'll do our best to help answer them during this session. And for those who don't know, Mobilarray EV is an app that allows you to share your home electric car charger or your business electric car charger to other EV drivers. And it facilitates you to earn extra income from that. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Leon? We can
Yeah, can do. Yeah, I'm Leon Bosch, head of partnerships at Pickle Insurance, which is a specialist insurance provider for the sharing economy. Prior to that, I mean, I've been doing insurance in the commercial automotive setting for almost 25 years, believe it or not. So have seen all walks of life from businesses doing R&D to manufacturing to car sales, repairs, motor racing, and everything in between. But always been fascinated with tech and the changing marketplace, especially with within the sharing economy, which is why I found myself now at Pickle.
You're up in Norfolk somewhere, aren't you?
So the office is based up in Norwich. Me personally, I'm down south in Windsor. So yeah.
I didn't used to live that far from there. Is everybody like an offshoot from Norwich Insurance or?
So the business has unsurprisingly there's a lot of ex-Norwich Union or Aviva insurance experts that have joined Pickle. So there is a big undercurrent there that's Norwich Union or Aviva based or were Aviva based. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, that's great. I think we can start by maybe explaining what the Charger Guarantee is. Mark, do you want to take the rein on what that involves?
Yeah, I'll do my best. So I'm going to explain a little bit why we persisted on trying to get this. That's probably, and that will explain why we're doing it to some extent, and then I'll explain what it is. So we do annual surveys of users, and we also do face-to-face interviews at my favorite motorway services, which is Rugby Motorway Services. It's only because it's not that far from me, but it's also quite busy, and it's not the ideal kind of charging hub place yet. And as part of that, a lot of people kind of said to me there and elsewhere, I don't really want strangers on my premises. I'm not sure, what happens if there's damage. There was a reluctance of hosts to share their charger to the public without having some element of trust and safety involved. So we spend a bit of time verifying users. That's what we do with Verif to Monza and Revolut type verification. But it didn't solve the kind of problems if there was any damage. And so we talked to a number of insurance providers, gave up on most of them because they really didn't get what it is that we were trying to do, nor did they really see any traction here. And then we came across Pickle, who provides for the sharing economy, for Airbnb and elsewhere insurance. So we had the initial conversation, and it's taken quite a while, right? It's taken some time, right? Some persistence to get here, but we finally got here. And basically, it provides coverage of damage which happens during a Mobilarray EV session to your charger, up to £3,000. Because we share both residential and business chargers. Some of those business chargers could be a little bit more than the £600, £700, £800, £900 that a home charger is. So we make it up to 3,000, and it doesn't cover everything. I'll let Leon talk about what the coverage is, because he can do that better than me. But it's intended to provide peace of mind to the host in terms of damage. If somebody drives off with the thing still stuck in, which I think on most modern EVs you can't do it anyway. But if something happens during that charging session or parking session, it's something that we cover in terms of that. And Leon could probably explain this again better than me. We have to call it a charger guarantee rather than insurance or damage protection because of Financial Conduct Authority rules, which have come in. I don't know. I think since PPI probably. It's probably the cause of it. But I'll let Leon explain more because he knows better than me what that is. So that's more or less what the charger guarantee is. It sounds like a small thing. It took us a while to get here. A lot of paperwork, a lot of persistence by Leon and me actually, and Sham. So it's we finally got here. So.
Very good. So, Leon, you said Mark mentioned about the damage coverage, but what actually does it include? What type of damages are included in the guarantee?
Yeah, so I suppose if we peel it back a little bit, so what we need to get across is it's not your traditional insurance, policy. So it's not Pickle aren't a front runner there providing insurance to the end user. What we do is we sit behind the scenes. So this is very much a Mobilaray guarantee. And the reason it's structured as such is because the type of insurance policy it is. We're effectively insuring Mobilaray's end user license agreement. I'm going to keep it quite high level so I don't go into too much of the technicalities and bore everyone. But ultimately what happens is Mobilaray provide the guarantee to the owner that says, right, any damage or any incidents occurring to that charger during a charge where we put someone on your premises, we're good for it. So if they cause any damage, we'll sort you out up to £3,000. And in the background, the liability that then is called, that then exists because of them having to, sort that damage out, they can then claim it off the policy from us. So our insurance protects Mobilaray, but that then enables Mobilaray to provide the guarantee and the peace of mind. Ultimately the peace of mind to the owners, because like Mark says, you've got to have a lot of trust. Putting a Joe Blow. I get that there's all the vetting that goes in, and there's some good vetting services that Mark and them have introduced. At the front end for drivers, but that alone it was probably not enough. So the fact that they've got this added guarantee that if they come in there after being vetted and there is that incident, that what we call that whoopsie moment when he drives away with a cable. And rips the thing off the wall. That's ultimately what this is there, designed to cover. Yeah, so that's again that's why it's called the guarantee rather than the insurance piece, because the insurance is behind the scenes between Pickle and Mobilaray. The guarantee is between Mobilaray and the owners.
That makes sense. I think high level overview there. So, Joe, when you go and charge, let's say, and use the app for Mobilaray EV as a driver, someone else's premises, right? So, is the guarantee automatically included with any host that signs up and any EV driver that charges?
This is all been structured at a platform level. So so every owner has every charge has the cover automatically included within it. So owners have that continuous peace of mind knowing that every charge that comes through there is has the cover automatically included.
It's also important to point out, because it's a valid point what you just asked the question, Alex, but there's also, you can understand the increased EV adoption over the period between now and 2035. There's going to be a lot of infrastructure, a lot of electric vehicles. There's going to be a lot of practical solutions that are going to be installed, not just domestically but publicly available and business as well. Now, the overall regulation of insurance is always going to be a lagger. It's never going to be in the forefront runner. But I think with having a guarantee provides a level of bridging between the insurance of full coverage and what you got is a sense of confidence that you're going up to an environment where you're not familiar with it. You may use it multiple times the same location, but you're not familiar with it, and you've got some level of protection or guarantee that if something did happen, which could or could not be your fault or someone else's fault, but there is an element of liability somewhere between those transactions happening. Between there's some deadlock situation removal that the guarantee covers it. Really, that's what it's trying to do, really, to give the confidence. Really, so, and I'm sure the insurance market and the regulation will catch up over that period between now and the target of 2035 and beyond. So I think this is a step towards it, innovation, really, whereas technology is adopting, but also insurance and guarantees and all the other infrastructure around is really a step forward in this direction, to be honest. And Pickle's really helped us in supporting that, really. So thank you for that.
It's very nice, kind words there. Yeah, absolutely. I think also when a customer, example, has an issue with their charger and needs to be claiming a guarantee from the guarantee, how do they do that? What processes are in place? Maybe Mark can have a look at that and take that question.
Yeah, I mean, so we on our website we have a claim page which basically you fill in, you provide some basic evidence, some photos if you have it, and then we will process it from there. We pass it on to Pickle and the underwriters, and then we'll take it from there. And other than that, I don't actually know what the process is. It's better over to Leon at that point. But basically, we will keep you up to date with any of the claim that goes on. We basically pass that claim on, and then it gets processed. So we haven't had any yet because we've only just launched it. So I can't tell you for certain in practical terms how it works. I'm an insurance skeptic, I have to say. Pet insurance is one of my pet peeves, no pun intended, because I can't insure my dogs or my horses, and because they have pre-existing conditions, and it's all terrible. But I think this actually looks very good, at least to an insurance skeptic. So and maybe Leon can explain after that what happens to the claim.
Yes, I mean, so again, with it being a mobile array, it's very much the mobile array guarantee. So in the event of a claim, I mean, basically what you're going to do is conform to the end user license agreements, which are all there on the website and what you sign up to and everything. And we've structured it all in a way that by the time should there be damage that's occurred there. And everything's everyone's conformed with what they had to, and it hits it hits our desk. It's basically covered. There's no individual claim analysis or anything like that, because the understanding is by the time it gets to that point, Mark and them would have checked that it's conformed to what it needs to. So by the time it gets to Pickle, it's a case of let's just get it sorted and move on. Yeah. So it's
about a situation?
Really, yeah.
I mean, we'll cross-check that the claim correlates to a transaction when a session actually occurred, and we'll do the basic investigation
diligence,
to make sure that this is that it's all kosher, so to speak, to use a New York term. But apart from that, I don't think it'll be pretty straightforward.
I mean, to be honest, in terms of the frequency of this is going to be low, but the impact could be high on individuals because of the level of, confidence they have, but generally speaking, EV drivers tend to be a bit more tech savvy, and they're more familiar with how to, do things with technology, but that doesn't mean it covers everyone. But generally speaking, so the idea is that to make the process as easy as possible is based on trust, really. So but we'll do all our due diligence behind the scenes in the process via the platform from all the data that we will have.
And what about cost? Does it cost anything?
It does. It costs a little bit. For a host, as part of every transaction, we will add an extra 20p for coverage. So it's transaction based. It's not a monthly charge or anything like that. It's just on a transaction basis. So it's effectively, the more transactions you have, the more you pay, because the risk is higher. It's which I think is fairly fair. Yeah. And I think that's a really, really good model, as opposed to some monthly payment or annual payment, which you are paying for something that you may never use. So
I think that was one of the issues you had initially, Mark, was when we first started chatting, was all the traditional insurers you had spoken to at that point wanted to charge you an annual premium up front. And
and a lot more than actually, a lot more than actually we would be charging our hosts. So.
Yeah. So being able to do that, I mean, and that's been a fundamental, like one of the fundamental differences. We've been able to facilitate that pay on use, kind of concept as well, and just have it within the pricing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is really innovative. So we do like to say that this is the world's first, because I haven't seen any other peer-to-peer charging application platform around the world, and I've looked from Norway to California. And I haven't found another one that offers this. So this is pretty good. I hope that Pickle gets more and other people start offering this, and they get more business from other providers as well. But we'd like to be the first, and I think the doing it on a transaction usage basis is quite innovative.
So as this looks to expand in the future, then with more onboarding with hosts and drivers and people using the apps and charging, how does it look in terms of enhancing the coverage in the future? Is there any plans to do that, like the limit or adding perks for maybe loyal customers?
I mean, I can answer that, because I had a hefty debate with somebody, I think on social media somewhere, about this isn't safe, and what about liability insurance and this, that, and the other. So when we get to business coverage, obviously most businesses have liability insurance anyway, but if there are you can't predict where this is going, right? So when first Airbnb rented out rooms, right, they didn't anticipate a whole cottage industry rivaling the hotel business, with apartments being shared out, and hotels.com and booking.com having to list apartments and guest houses in the same way as Airbnb is. So I can't guarantee that at some point where peer-to-peer EV charging isn't going to be somebody that's actually using who set it up as a business. And if that happens, maybe we'll look at adding liability coverage to that. It's something that I think we discussed at the very beginning with Pickle and Leon, and decided that for now that's so it's not something that we cover right now, but we make sure that at least the equipment is covered.
And there's that £3,000 limit, right? So is there a reason why we've chosen that kind of limit? Does it address kind of the issues faced by electric car owners?
Leon picked that number, so I'll let Leon.
So, again, when Mark and Sham came to speak to us, we were looking at it, and we would. I mean, the limit was purely born out of the idea with right, worst case scenario, you have to replace the whole unit because there's that sort of damage, done to it. Where what's the price point that that would cover 99.99% of a replacement, and that was kind of the value at the time. Sure, as with everything else, things might look to things might increase over time and everything. We might have to revisit that, but at the time that was kind of the limit, based on the fact that might be the maximum. That if someone's really totaled a unit and needs replacing, that would cover most of them.
And to bring a little bit more technical in there, so a home charger, which is 7 kilowatt, if you get an expensive Anderson one, it's maybe 1,000, 1,500 with install, right? But if you're getting and you happen to have 3-phase because you're a business, or you happen to be a more forward-thinking resident, and I have actually, I think Jill at EVA England has 3-phase. They can have 22 kilowatt. Those units are more expensive in terms of the capital cost, but also the install. So that's why we went for 3,000, which covers the majority of them. So we don't. So the idea is, if somebody comes along and starts sharing a 50 kilowatt InstaVolt or GridServe charger or something, a pod point commercial charger, then we may have to reconsider that. But we're at the moment assuming that it's going to be at max a 22 level 2 charger that we're covering. So I think it actually says level 2 in the user license agreement that you sign when you sign up, just in case you didn't want that you effectively agree to that end user license agreement when you sign up to our platform in the app. So.
And what about in terms of charging when you're using the app and using the session for the guarantee? What kind of factors are protected? Does it include weather, vandalism, or any malfunctions or defects in terms of the charger itself?
So the guarantee is primarily designed there to cover any direct damage to it during a charge. Yeah, so that is the underlying, probably the underlying condition is did it occur during the charge? So it's any factors that could happen as a direct cause of somebody, using the charger. That's ultimately what's covered by the guarantee. Because you've got to remember, underlying the guarantee, but there will be the fully comprehensive insurance policy that either the homeowner's got or the business owner would have, like Mark's alluded to earlier. So this isn't designed there to replace that. For weather events and all that. What this is doing is adding that security and that peace of mind that I've got someone coming on here that's going to use my stuff. If they damage my stuff, I want to make sure it's covered and I'm not paying for it. So also, it's not affecting their insurance, because it's all borne under the guarantee through the platform.
Yeah, but also on that valid point, some owners may have insurance in place, but it may not be adequately covered for certain events of that eventuality. It doesn't mean it's a replacement. It just means the guarantee is to give the added confidence that you've got some level of guarantee or protection for your transaction during that. There are areas that it won't cover everything, and then if you do have the right insurance, it may cover in that area. You have to look up your own policies, or it may not. But either way, that this will give you an impartial way of, going up to an unknown. It would be verified anyway, but you know what I mean. You rock up to a drive or a charge. You've got the guaranteed covered under your transactions. Really,
I think it's important as well to mention the verification process, because every host and every driver who uses the app is verified with their ID. Mark mentioned earlier is it Monzo and Revolut that use a similar system?
Yeah, even traditional banks use it these days. I've noticed they've started copying the digital banks, so they all use it.
Absolutely, and we want to use the idea is obviously the Mobile Array EV is a trusted app, so the people that are using it, when they do sign up to charge during the session, not only are they covered by the guarantee, but they know who's charging and who's turning up on the day.
Yeah,
and then get a background perhaps if anything were to go wrong. From your side, Leon, then do you have partnerships with insurance providers or repair services with this guarantee? How does that look in terms of like submitting a claim and then getting it fixed?
We've got specialist insurers that do it. It's again not traditional in a sense of like a motor insurance policy where you might have an insurer who's got a host of approved repairers that they've got. It works very differently, to that. So everything is pretty much just contract related. So it's based on the platform, the timestamp as to when the charge happened, and then all the end user license agreement terms and conditions that are in there. So we literally piggyback the Mobile Array T's and C's effectively, and cover anything that sits in there. So that's why I do have to keep stressing it's very, very different to the perception of a traditional insurance policy. So this is very much a Mobile Array guarantee, to give you that added confidence and peace of mind that should anything happen during that charge, they've got you covered, and in the background we've got Mobile Array covered, through specialist insurance that protects them by providing the guarantee.
So actually, we just released, I think, a build today, a new version of the app which has the charger guarantee in it. So if you want to take advantage of it, update or install the new one. And if you do that, you can take advantage of a couple of coupons, discounts. As a driver, you can have a coupon. I forgot what the code is now. But as a host, you can have new host MREV, which will give you £10 off the fees, including the 20p charger guarantee fee. So now it's a good time to go and install and take advantage and have the security and trust of a charger guarantee users verified. I had a user contact me yesterday. I think it's a bit of a competitor, but anyway, they were asking me, so people can come along and steal my power, and I said, well, they can only do that by A, booking it, B, swiping an NFC tag, and to do that, they have to verify themselves in the app, right, to even do any of that. So we know exactly who it is, when they're there. So if they're stealing power, because it works the same as a Tesla charger, right? You can't start a Tesla charger except through the app. There's no user interface except version 4 on the latest Tesla chargers. There's no user interface on a Tesla charger. So you have to do the same thing with the Mobile Array EV app. You start it through the app and you stop it through the app, or by swiping the NFC tag. And by doing that, we automatically know who you are. So if you're stealing power, we at least know who is stealing the power. So by the way, stealing power is not covered part of the charger guarantee. That is a different thing. So stealing power, which I always find is a strange concept, because they're sitting on these what they call fast chargers, but you need a good 3-4 hours to get a decent charge, right? So if somebody's sitting there for 3-4 hours, I think you might know it's being plugged in, even if it's on a side street or the back of a garage or something like that. You still would notice a car sitting there for 3 or 4 hours on a regular basis, stealing your power. And look, maybe I'm being very facetious and flippant, and there may be ways and means in terms of terraced houses where this could be done kind of almost without people noticing, but it seems not likely to me. But in any case, you can't just rock up with Mobile Array EV, plug in, and then everything starts. That's not how it works, right? Unless you've set your charger to do that. The only way it does that is you booked it, you know who it has booked it, and you start it through the app. The same as Tesla charger. You can plug a Tesla charger in, doesn't mean it's going to start charging, right? And obviously that means you don't put your charger on automatically start charging when plugged in, because that setting kind of defeats the object of sharing your charger. But we will start and stop the charge of the charger when from the car. They could try to start the charge from the car without our app, but we still know because you've booked it, and again you're there for 3 or 4 hours without somebody's going to notice. But anyway, that's a different topic to some degree, so I apologize. Went off down a rabbit hole there. Any last questions?
Yeah, I think finally, really, Leon, I don't know if you can advise us, but what would you say for other EV companies in the sustainability space, really, about building the trust and confidence amongst users of electric cars? Obviously, the charger guarantee helps.
Yeah, well, I think it all comes down to that peace of mind, really. I mean, you want to. You just want to make sure. I mean, whatever it is, peace of mind, and I know we've spoken about range anxiety over the years, the early EVs and all that. Throughout the whole EV cycle, I think that's what it all comes down to, is peace of mind. How can I have peace of mind that I'm going to get from A to B, that I'm going to be able to charge when I get from A to B as well? Is there somewhere where I can charge, and is there somewhere safe I can do it? So I think everything that Mobile Array is just doing all of that, from the verification at the front end of drivers and owners, all the way through now to providing the guarantee. It's that added piece of security and peace of mind, knowing that all the way through that whole cycle, you know, they got you as covered as best can be, because obviously there'll be people that try and, you know, chance their arm and things like this, but you know, you've taken every single step here to try and cut that out. And you know, I think that's what it comes down to is just that peace of mind play. Yeah,
that's a great way to put it. Then to
Is there anything, Leon, that people that are listening to us could help you with Pickle, or anything that you want us to help us with?
I suppose, I mean, for us, it's always going to be, we've got a start point, yeah, Mark. So I suppose it's always about feedback, really. You know, and it'll be along the lines of, I know you guys do the surveys quite regularly, but, you know, it'd always be good to touch base and find out, is the 3,000 limit still adequate? You know, is there anything else in addition to damage that we should look to consider? So, you know, where the, like you pointed out earlier, Mark, the traditional insurers, I think, sorry, it was Shan, you were saying how there's always that lag where traditional insurance always takes an age to catch up. And it's true, because I've been there, and I've been, you know, being a broker, I've always found in the automotive industry, particularly, the automotive industry is like, you know, innovating at a rate of knots. And I always found I had to keep dragging the insurance industry along. And yeah, so you know, just being able to find out where, you know, where the next, you know, opportunity is, but with opportunity comes the risk, and how we can maybe solve for it, because we differ in a sense where we try and tailor our products around what the platform's looking to provide. So it's always good to know, you know, what's the next market, what's the next thing, what's the next you know, blocker, and how can we try and work together to solve for it, is I suppose the would be the ask from us. Yeah, because that's where we kind of come to our own, you know, where it's a platform led you know, solution that's kind of finding some blockers as to, you know, again, going out that peace of mind play. How can we give that peace of mind from an insurance perspective to then remove that blocker and get the platform going?
Absolutely, staying ahead of the curve as well, 100%. Yeah, doing what other companies aren't doing, and you know, keeping an eye out what the industry is doing as well. So very exciting to hear. So yeah, that's the Charger Guarantee. I believe we are out of time. So thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow Pickle.
No, thanks for having me.
Enjoy your Christmas. I know you've started already with your Christmas parties and so on. By the way, the survey, the annual survey, it will be kicked off again probably January. I tend to use the more quiet period over Christmas and Christmas Day to go and create this survey. So we'll be doing another annual survey, and then creeping out to Rugby Motorway Services to do face-to-face interviews, and maybe we'll record them this time and put them on social media. If it's safe to do so, and I don't get all these swear words, and I have had some. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we'll probably won't do another one until the new year. So because otherwise it'll be in the middle of Christmas period, and I doubt anybody wants to watch us during that time. So we'll probably see you again in the new year. So everyone have a good Christmas period and a new year, and we'll see you in 2025.
Yeah, have a good time, guys. Merry Christmas. It's a bit early, but take care.
Cheers all.
Cheers.